Welcome to Ayur Times. Today's topic, the Ayurvedic approach to balanced eating. We're looking into the ancient system of Ayurveda, which really places this profound emphasis on proper nutrition. It sees food as, well, fundamental to our health.
It absolutely does. Ayurvedic wisdom actually considers food even more powerful than medicine, provided it's consumed in the right ways. When we align our eating with these principles, our bodies, they don't just feel better, they naturally find this deep sense of balance and vitality.
Right. Yeah.
So our mission today is really to explore these timeless principles, helping you cultivate, digestive harmony, maybe boost your energy, and just enhance overall well-being.
Yeah, ultimately helping you transform your relationship with food by eating in alignment with your body's needs and its natural rhythms. Okay, so let's unpack this. A core Ayurvedic concept, one that often surprises people, is the Ayurvedic food ratio. It's this ancient proportional guideline. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly effective for optimal digestion and nutrient absorption. It basically suggests dividing your stomach into three parts when you eat. The first is for solid foods, filling about half your stomach. This means things like whole grains, lentils, vegetables, fruits, seeds, nuts. Your basic building blocks give you nutrients and that sustained energy.
Exactly. Then you have the second part, 14 portion for liquid foods. So that's things like water, herbal teas, maybe vegetable juices, coconut water, light broths. These aren't just for hydration, though. They're critical for helping your digestive enzymes work properly and, transporting all those nutrients around your system.
And here's the bit I find fascinating, the crucial 14 portion for empty space. Now, this might sound a bit odd, especially if you were told to clean your plate, but leaving about a quarter of your stomach empty, it's a total game changer. It stops that heavy, sluggish feeling after eating, and importantly, it gives your digestive fire, your Agnishing, the actual space it needs to churn and assimilate your food properly, like room for the process to happen efficiently.
And what's great is how practical it is. Many water-rich foods like juicy fruits or raw veggies, they actually count towards both the solid and liquid portions.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it makes following the guideline maybe easier than you'd first think.
Okay, so how do you actually know if your food choices are working for you? If they're truly nourishing you in line with these ideas? Ayurveda gives us some really clear signs. The first one is post-meal freshness. Think about it. Ever eat a meal and just want to crawl onto the sofa?
Oh, yeah.
Ayurveda says after a balanced meal, you should feel energized, alert, not heavy or tired. That feeling of vitality is like your body saying, yep, this works.
Precisely. And another key sign is comfortable digestion. This means, eating without getting bloated afterwards or gassy or just feeling that uncomfortable heaviness. You should feel satisfied, yes, but comfortably so, not stuffed or distended. There's a real ease that comes with proper digestion.
And then there's sustained energy. When you eat optimally, your energy should be stable for hours after. No sudden crashes, no unexpected hunger pangs making you grab for a biscuit. That stability is a clear sign your body's using nutrients efficiently.
And a really powerful one, I think, is mental clarity. Your mind should feel clear, focused, not foggy or dull. Ayurveda recognized this gut-brain connection thousands of years ago. When your digestion is good, your mind tends to follow. Clear thoughts, emotional stability, it's all linked.
Right, it's quite profound.
It really is.
So these signals, they're like your body talking to you. If you just pay attention, you can sort of intuitively tweak your diet to support your unique constitution and stay balanced.
Which leads us nicely into optimal Ayurvedic meal timing. Ayurveda talks a lot about Agni, your digestive fire. Aligning your meals with the natural strength of your Agni during the day is, well, it's paramount. It maximizes nutrient absorption and stops that buildup of, that sticky, undigested metabolic waste. Think of Agni like a campfire. You want to add fuel when it's burning brightest.
Okay.
So one popular approach is the one main meal plan. Here, your biggest cooked meal is eaten between, say 12:00 p.m. and 2:00 p.m. That's when your digestive fire is traditionally strongest, like the sun at its peak. It maximizes absorption. So in this plan, your morning, maybe 8:00, 9:00 a.m., might just be fresh fruits. Then midday is your main meal, cooked veg, grains, lentils, healthy fats, and evening. If you're truly hungry, something very light, easily digestible.
Okay, that's one way. And there's also the two main meals plan, right? Offers a bit more flexibility, maybe. Here, you'd still start the morning 8:00 to 9:00 a.m. with fruits, then maybe a light breakfast around 9:00 or at 10:00 a.m., some grains, steamed veggies perhaps. Your main meal then shifts to the afternoon, say between 3:00 and 5:00 p.m. And that would be your balanced plate salad, grains, protein, healthy fats.
What's fascinating here, though, is how these timings connect directly to the daily rhythms and the dosha times. Think about it. 6 to 10 a.m. is kapha time. Energy is heavier, digestion slower, so lighter foods make sense.
Right.
Then 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., that's pitta time. The fire is strongest, perfect for your main meal. The afternoon, 2 to 6 p.m., is a kapha vata transition. Digestion is still pretty good, so that works for the second main meal in that plan.
Hmm.
And then vata time, 6 to 10 p.m., digestion declines. So light food or maybe no food is best. It's all about aligning with those natural cycles.
Okay, now here's where it gets really insightful, I think. The critical appetite rule. This is something, well, I think we all struggle with today. Ayurveda teaches that true hunger is the body's signal that the previous meal is digested, and it genuinely needs more nourishment. Honoring this natural hunger doesn't just help digestion, it prevents that buildup of ama, those toxins that can, gum up your system. And modern research actually backs this up. Following natural hunger cues helps maintain a healthy metabolism, can even prevent issues like insulin resistance.
Yes, exactly. So the key rules here are quite clear, and they really empower you to listen to your own body. First, honor your appetite. Only eat when you're genuinely hungry, not just because it's lunchtime or you're bored or feeling emotional. Second, never suppress hunger. Ignoring real hunger can have consequences, body aches, fatigue, even weakened vision or strength over time. And finally, avoid overeating. Stop when you feel comfortably satisfied. Remember that quarter empty stomach rule we talked about? It's crucial.
So what does this all mean for telling the difference between hunger signals? It's about knowing real appetite versus food cravings. Real appetite comes from an empty stomach after digestion. It's a physical need. You feel satisfied with a reasonable amount, and afterwards you feel energized. Food cravings, though, often emotional triggers, right? Usually for a specific case, sweet, salty, often leads to eating too much, and then you feel heavy, sluggish.
Absolutely. Learning that distinction is essential. Real appetite usually builds gradually, a gentle nudge. Cravings often hit suddenly, intensely more of a mind thing. Eating when truly hungry and stopping when moderately full lets your body maintain its natural wisdom. A great tip is just to pause before you eat. Ask yourself, is this stomach hunger or head hunger? That awareness alone can be transformative. Now let's talk about the visible signs of proper digestion. Ayurveda sees optimal digestion, your Agni, as the absolute cornerstone of health. When it works well, nutrients get absorbed, toxins get eliminated, tissues get nourished. But incomplete digestion creates ama, that toxic residue we mentioned, which can unfortunately cause numerous health issues.
Right.
So by watching for these signs, you can gauge your digestive strength. Key signs include complete elimination, regular complete bowel movements and urination, shows efficient processing and waste removal. Also, mental clarity. Clear thinking, good focus, emotional stability all reflect that mind-gut connection working well. You should also feel a physical lightness, especially in the abdomen, chest, heart area. Suggests sufficient digestion. And finally, the return of hunger. That natural appetite emerging again tells you the last meal is fully processed and your body's ready for more.
These insights lead us right into the idea of foods in their natural form. Ayurveda teaches that foods closest to their natural state have the most prana, or vital energy, and the most nutritional value. Minimally processed foods are just easier for the body to recognize and use. Makes sense, really.
It does, and modern nutrition science confirms it. Certain enzymes in raw foods, key for digestion, start breaking down almost immediately when heated. Cooking some veggies, like broccoli, can quickly degrade over half their vitamin C.
Wow.
Yeah. So emphasizing fresh whole foods ensures you get that full spectrum of nutrients. This means things like eating fresh fruits raw and whole, including raw vegetables daily, enjoying nuts and seeds raw, maybe soaked, or just lightly roasted.
Okay. And speaking of natural forms, let's touch on hydrating the Ayurvedic way. Water is essential, obviously, but Ayurveda has specific guidelines based on your body type, your dosha.
That's right. For Vata and Kapha types, who tend to be cooler or heavier, sipping water at room temperature or slightly warm is best. It helps balance them, avoids chilling the system or slowing digestion. For Pitta types who run warmer, more fiery, enjoying refreshing water from an earthen pot is ideal. That natural cooling effect from the clay helps pacify their heat. Next, let's dive into the 6 tastes of Ayurveda, the rasas. Ayurveda identifies 6 distinct tastes, and each one has a different effect on the body. The key insight is that a truly balanced meal, ideally, incorporates all 6 tastes. This brings satisfaction, ensures you get a range of nutrients, and helps balance the doshas.
And the order matters too, right? You mentioned sweet, salty, sour first to stimulate digestion.
Exactly. Followed by pungent, astringent, and bitter to kind of complete the process.
So let's quickly run through them. Sweet builds tissues, calms nerves, good for vata and pitta, but too much increases kapha.
Salty enhances flavor, stimulates digestion, balances beta. Sour stimulates appetite, supports digestion.
Right, those are common. But then there's pungent like chilies, ginger, stimulates metabolism, clears congestion, great for kapha.
Yes. And astringent, think beans, pomegranate, green tea, detoxifies, tightens tissues, balances pitta and kapha.
And maybe the most overlooked, bitter. Leafy greens, turmeric, detoxifies, reduces inflammation, good for skin. Getting more bitter and astringent tastes can really shift digestion and even curb those sweet, salty cravings.
Definitely. They're often missing in modern diets.
Okay, so beyond tastes, Ayurveda also looks at the 3 food qualities, or Gunas. This is really profound teaching. The quality of your food directly influences your consciousness. What you eat literally becomes your thoughts, emotions, tissues. It's not just fuel.
Precisely. We categorize foods into 3 gunas, each with a distinct energy. First, Sattvic foods. These are pure, wholesome foods promoting clarity, peace, balance. Think fresh organic fruits, veggies, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, honey. They're cleansing, easy to digest, nourish without taxing the system, good for body and mind.
Then you have Rajasic foods. These are stimulating. They create activity, maybe agitation if you have too much. Things like caffeine, very spicy foods, chocolate, eggs, even freshly canned stuff. They give energy, sure, but too much can lead to restlessness, overthinking, emotional ups and downs.
And finally, Tamasic foods. These are the heavy ones. They induce dullness, lethargy, inertia. Processed foods, leftovers, frozen foods, fermented items. Many animal products fall here. Too much Tamasic food can cloud your mind, make you feel sluggish, dampen your vitality.
So the recommendation is pretty clear. Focus on Sattvic foods, reduce Rajasic and Tamasic. That's the path to more equilibrium, more vibrancy.
This raises an important point about food's vitality, which brings us to the Ayurvedic 48-minute rule. Ayurveda suggests that food has its peak nutritional value in prana right after cooking. Within about 48 minutes, it's at its most beneficial. After, say, 3 hours, it starts losing vitality, becomes harder to digest, and can contribute to ama.
Wow, 48 minutes. That's specific. And it aligns with modern science too, doesn't it? Nutrient degradation.
It does. Research shows antioxidants, heat-sensitive vitamins, enzymes, they start breaking down pretty quickly with time, heat, air exposure.
Right.
So eating fresh maximizes nutrition and minimizes digestive strain.
So the practical takeaway is cook fresh from scratch, eat promptly, ideally within that window, and prepare appropriate portions, cook what you'll eat, avoid leftovers.
Exactly.
And that flows perfectly into mindful eating practices. We can turn the simple act of eating into, well, a ritual of self-care, like starting by expressing gratitude. Just taking a moment before you eat to be thankful for the food. It's your journey. This simple act actually shifts your nervous system to that rest and digest state, which is ideal for digestion.
Absolutely. And it's so important to eliminate distractions. Turn off the screens, step away from the work desk, create a calm space. When you focus on your meal, you naturally eat slower, chew better, and your body signals fullness more effectively. Digestion just works better.
And finally, share meals when you can. Eating with others, family or friends, it has real benefits. Not just for digestion that shared energy actually helps, but also for mental health, emotional well-being. That connection enhances everything. Integrating these mindful practices really turns eating into something, well, almost sacred. It enhances digestion, absorption, satisfaction, the whole experience. So bringing all these Ayurvedic principles together, it really transforms healthy eating. It stops being about rigid rules and becomes more of a natural, intuitive way of caring for yourself, respecting your body's wisdom.
And considering that profound link between what you eat and how you feel, maybe ask yourself, what's one small, intentional shift you could make in your daily eating habits starting today? Something to cultivate a bit more physical lightness or mental clarity. We invite you to subscribe to the Ayur Times channel for more insights like these.
And please do share your questions and thoughts by commenting below. We genuinely love to hear from you.